So here is what we're going to be making. You guys, I really love doing anything that's a little bit oversized. And this is a tag. It's actually a shiplap tag. Actually, let me show you the back because I haven't covered the back of this yet. It's just a raw kind of blonde wood, but it has the shiplap lines in it. Did a little pre-painting ahead of time so I could make sure I stay within my hour with you. Because we have another presenter for Jingle Mingle coming up at noon Central, which is Pam Coxwell. Okay, so if you're watching right now on my page and you're not a part of the Jingle and Mingle event, you're going to want to go over and join that free group because there will be other presenters coming on after me. There were also presenters all day yesterday. So lots and lots and lots of holiday inspiration being shared in the Jingle and Mingle group. So, so I'm sorry, I read a comment and it made me giggle. So anyway, if you're watching on my page, Susan Laws is over there and she's going to be helping to answer any questions or post links. If you're watching in the Jingle Mingle group, Cheryl McCarson is there and she's going to be helping with the same to answer any questions if I don't see them or to post links. Because, you know, I think you're going to like this kit. And I think you're going to like it. Again, like I said, I kind of like oversized things. This is actually kind of it's a tag shape, right? You can see that it's a tag shape. And it's just so cute, y'all. But look at it kind of against my arm and you'll see how big it actually is. I think it measures out about 10.5 inches or something like that. It's about 4.5, I think, inches wide. So it's just so cute. I love doing big things like this because it's, you know, Christmas time is a special time. You're going to learn a little bit of napkin art from me today. But this could be cute even in like a Christmas tree as an oversized ornament. This could be cute on a Christmas wreath. This could be cute if you created a pocket on the back of it as a special way to give maybe a gift certificate, maybe tickets to a show or, you know, gift cards or, you know, those kinds of things. So it's just fun sometimes to work with different size projects or different size surfaces. And I think this one turned out really, really cute. This tag is the small. Vicki, I see your question there. This tag is the small. Now, I do want to tell you that we have kits for this. All right. But when I released my kits in the Jingle Mingle group, they all sold out within like a day and a half. Okay. So we have added inventory to do pre-orders for more of these kits. So if you like what you see today, the girls are going to post links where you can actually pre-order this kit, but you need to know this. Okay. We won't be able to ship these because they have to be cut and all the things. We won't be able to ship these until probably the 25th or 26th of this month. So as long as you're okay with that, just know that it is a pre-order. If you ordered in the first round, those have all been shipped out. Okay, those have all been shipped out. If you want a second round, or if you decide you want a second kit, or this is your first time seeing it and you want to pre-order a kit, we can do that for you. Just keep in mind we can't ship it till the 25th or 26th. Okay? All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I know had no idea they would sell out this quickly. We actually had quite a few, I think like 95 or so kits, and they sold out so fast. All right. So here we go. Let me kind of show you what's going to be in this kit. There will be a little wooden shiplap Christmas tree. And again, this is the color of the wood. I just pre-painted the base, and I'll talk to you about that in a second. And then also this lovely kind of oversized tag. Love it. Then you're going to get a full-size napkin. Look how pretty. I love this napkin. Look what it looks like when we open it up. Isn't it gorgeous? So you're going to get this full-size napkin. You're also going to get this full-size napkin, even though, let me just show you, we're going to put the napkin on the tree, but I thought it would be great because you want to finish this out to where it looks really nice. So you're going to have plenty of napkin that you can actually napkinize the entire back of the tag. Okay, so we wanted to make sure you had plenty of that. And of course, the pretty gold ribbon and some beautiful red, white, and green baker's twine. Okay, so it's a really fun kit. It's a very easy put together, and that's what we're going to jump on right now. You guys, you ready? I know, Lori, everyone just really loves, I think kits are just really popular because you don't have to go out and find all the things, right? And that just makes it really convenient and easy. So let's talk about paint really quickly. Again, so happy that you are all here watching. You're going to start out this project by doing some painting. Okay, so I painted the top part of the tree. I painted the top of the tag. And then if you're going to finish out the back side, which I recommend that you do, you need to paint the back side too. Okay, but for today, I'm just going to work on the fronts. All right. Thank you, Carrie. That's so sweet. I'm glad you like the kits. So what did I paint with? Well, I actually decided to do something just slightly different. This one, and I'm going to hold this up for you because I'm hoping you can see the crackle effect, this kind of aged crackle effect right here. This one is painted in white. The color that I used, we carry Country Chic paints because they're chalk and mineral based, is called Simplicity. But for today's, I decided to go with vanilla frosting because some of you like, for Christmas, you like a little bit more of a warm white. This is kind of like an antique white. It's a warm white. They both are going to look great. Okay, so any kind of light color in your stash, if you don't want to actually order paints, if you want to use paints from your stash, whites, warm whites, maybe even creams. Okay, but we don't want to really go for dark colors because we want our napkin art to really, really pop. Okay, we want this napkin art to really, really pop. All right. Okay, so any of that kind of color family is going to be just fine. All right. So what I did before I came live, I just painted a base coat. That's it. Just one quick base coat right along, my tag. I do like to clean out the little valleys in the shiplap. And so you could do that with a toothpick. I use this little file pick right here. And so after I painted, I just kind of took this along and just kind of cleaned out some of the paint. It's not as important on the Christmas tree, but I kind of like it on the shiplap background to clean out those valleys. All right. Thank you for sprinkling. I appreciate that, Tamara. Thank you. So these have already been painted. I like to use my bags sometimes or just old bags. This is parchment paper, just as kind of a messy mat. And what we're going to do next is we're going to add some crackle medium. Now, this is completely optional. This project would look super cute even without it. Okay. It would look super cute even without it. But again, I kind of like a little bit of aging on my projects, kind of aged elegance. Okay. So I'm going to use some crackle medium here. This is what it looks like. It's from Country Chic Paint. And I'm going to grab a little stir stick here. This is just a popsicle stick. So I'm going to do some stirring. You can use a different brand if you want to. That's totally fine. All crackle mediums will settle. All right. That's just the name of the game because of the types of elements that are in the formula, right? For crackle medium, they all settle. So it's really important to mix them up. And I like to actually stir them rather than shake them. I don't like when you shake them and you shake them really vigorously, you get these little micro bubbles and those can kind of be a pain. So I like just coming in and mixing it up. So it'll be kind of white. It's going to look kind of white, kind of milky, but we just want to make sure that all the good stuff is mixed up in here really, really well, right? We want some good cracklage. Okay. So now that I already have my base coat down, this may be a little bit different than something you've seen before because we're going to do what I call white on white. That means it's going to be very subtle. I'm not doing two like contrasting colors. And I'm going to come in and just start painting this crackle medium all over my tag. We are not crackling the tree, just the tag. The back. We're going to make a pretty crackled background on the tag. And then I like for this to dry. You're not going to see crackle right now. You're going to see the crackle when we put the top coat on, but I'm going to use the exact same color of paint on top that I used on the background. And I love the effect. I think it's really pretty. It's definitely very subtle, but it gives it just such a pretty kind of aged quality to it without that striking contrast. Sometimes I want the contrast, but for this project, I didn't. Okay. So I think you're going to really like how this turns out. So let me put this over here. Now it's going to look really wet. You can kind of see the reflection in the camera. That's exactly how we want it to look. We want it to look really, really wet like this. And then we're going to let it dry. Now, this is something a little bit different because different brands, you know, of crackle medium will tell you to do different things. But just me personally, I like for the majority of the crackle medium to be completely dry before I add the top coat. Okay. I just think it always turns out better. I really love how it looks. So that is kind of my method. You can apply heat to it. So you can, if you have a heat gun, you can apply heat to it, or even your blow dryer, you know, something like that, to get it to dry a little faster. But I'm going to go ahead and let it set up right here by just on its own for a little bit. And we're going to do some fussy cutting of our napkins next. Okay. So again, let me show you your napkins for this project. They're so pretty. This beautiful poinsettia, so pretty. It's on kind of a craft background, which actually is a wonderful recycled product. So here we go. They're just so pretty. And then our green is going to be on our Christmas tree. Also, I think the green would look really good on the back of the tag. Okay, so I have a couple of pieces here. These are the pieces that I'm going to be cutting out. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting these out. And I like to do this with kind of a good little pair of, these are called snips. We actually have snips, and then we have a new kind of scissors out now that are spring action. So if you like the spring action, if that's easier on your hands, I am loving those scissors. They're pretty cool. So I'm going to go around and start kind of cutting. Now I'm going to kind of prune away a little bit. Okay. Terry, we have added pre-orders for more kits if you're interested. Our first round of kits completely sold out after I released them in the Jingle Mingle group. But we do have, we are working on more, and we'll be able to ship those around the 25th, 26th of July, if you're interested. All right, so here we go. I am going to leave just a little, see that? I'm not cutting right on the image. I'm leaving a little bit. So it's almost like you're kind of bubbling around. And I'm just going to kind of bubble around the parts of the napkin that I want to see. All right. I prefer cutting the napkin while it's whole before taking off the plies. I just think it's just stronger that way. And watch what I'm going to do right here. Do you see how the napkin kind of ends right there? Well, I'm just going to lose some of that. I'm going to lose some of that. I don't need all of that. So feel free to kind of prune and lose any part of your poinsettia and your beautiful fir stems and berries, because we don't want anything to have like a hard cutoff. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yeah, I just did not anticipate the kits selling so quickly. So yes, we are in the works on more. We're having more of the shiplap pieces cut because we want you all to be happy. We want you to be happy. All right. So while I'm cutting this, I just want to mention that if you are not already in the Jingle and Mingle group, you need to go be a part of this group. I'm going to cut this little piece off right here, I think, because we have some great, we have a really great grand prize going on over there. Tons of products and things in the giveaway. Each one of us has donated something to that grand prize giveaway. And you need to go on over into that group to enter. So if you've not done that yet, make sure and pop over into the Facebook group over there and request to join. It's a free group. This is a free event, no cost. All right, I think this looks pretty good. What do y'all think? So do you see, just kind of cut away? I don't want any hard edges. I don't want any of the edges of the napkin, right? I just want it to look like one kind of continuous grouping. I think that looks really good. And now I'm going to take this side piece. Okay, this is a piece of the napkin that's on the side. We're going to actually use this side to our advantage here. And so again, I'm going to do kind of prune off some of the bottom edges. And just do a little fussy cutting, bubble cutting right around. All right. Yes. How many of you watched Jingle Mingle yesterday? There were some really great presentations yesterday. And if you didn't, if you're going to be new to the group, it's okay, because the replays are all over there. So you can actually replay and watch all of the presentations as many times as you wish. Mine will be saved over there as well. Each presenter has a guide. So it makes it really easy for us to save everything in our guides. All right, I think I'm going to cut off this little, I like this leaf. Maybe I can, let's see if I can salvage this leaf, even though it's cut. I'll just cut it down a little smaller. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm doing for this section. And of course, everybody's can look different, right? Everybody's can look different. You can change it up, you know, to whatever portions of the napkin you want to see. You're going to have plenty extra because you're getting the full napkin. All right. You'll have plenty extra to play with. Okay. So now we have those two cut. Now let's work on the green. All right. Let's work on the green really quick. So the green is going to cover the actual tree. I think this is going to look really good. And look how big this napkin is. I mean, it's big. It's a luncheon size. You're going to have plenty of this to cover the back side of your tag if you choose to. So what we're going to do is open this up. And you can decide, do I want, here, let's work on this side so you can see. Do I want my checks to go straight across? Do I want them to go at kind of this, they're already on the napkin at kind of a diagonal, which I think is kind of cute. So on my first sample, I did them straight. Do you see how the check goes straight across? So I thought, well, let's just for comparison, let's do this one at the diagonal. Okay. You like the pink on me? Yes. Thank you. Y'all are so sweet. Okay. So I'm going to lay this down. And I'm going to use what we call a friction pin. A friction pin is awesome, y'all. Every crafter needs one. They're like $1.99. They're so inexpensive, but they're a great best friend when you're crafting because you can draw with them, you can trace with them, and the ink disappears with heat. Okay, so they're great to use if I'm ever, and I'm just tracing on the top of this, but I could be tracing on the back. And I just don't have to worry about it because, yeah, the ink's all going to disappear. Okay. Now I want you to see that you can kind of see this, hopefully. We're not tracing the star. We're not tracing the stem. Okay, just this portion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually connect. I'm going to kind of I'm just going to keep these lines going up straight to make a point. Okay, See my little point right there? And then just connect to this line just straight across where the opening for the trunk was of the tree. Okay. Oh my gosh, friction pins are fabulous. They're by Pilot. We carry them in my online store, but you can find them wherever office supplies are sold. They are just fabulous. They really are. Okay, so what I'm doing now is going to cut this out. So once you cut out your tree, you're going to have plenty, like I said, plenty still of this napkin if you want to cover the back of your tag. And I think it'll look really nice like that. Okay. All right, let's cut out the tree. Just cutting along, and it's so great because if I don't cut it exactly on the line, it won't matter, because when I put my heat gun over it after we Mod Podge it on, after we decoupage it on, yeah, the lines are just going to disappear. So it's really super easy to work with. So if you're watching right now, I'm just curious, how many of you, whether you're watching on my page or in the Jingle Mingle group, how many of you are in the Napkin Club? Are any of you out there in my Napkin Club? Let me know. Let me have a shout out in the comments. I want to thank you for being here. And also let the rest of you know that because this is a very special event, the Jingle Mingle event, we're actually offering a special invitation link for anyone that might want to get information and sign up for the Napkin Club, and you get to bypass the wait list. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because right now the only way to get into the Napkin Club is through a wait list. So we're actually offering that to anyone that is watching or participating today. So yeah, if you find as you're watching that you're like, I kind of like this napkin art, I want to learn more about it, maybe the Napkin Club is a good place for you. Okay. So yes, thank you, girls. Thank you. I see everybody shouting out. That's from the Napkin Club. And why don't you just type something in the comments, something that you love about being in the club, right? Maybe you love the napkins or the variety that you get every month or whatever it is. That would be great. All right, I'm going to go ahead and separate this napkin. I want to show you this is super easy to do. There's a couple ways to do it, okay? I use what I call the lick and stick method. I get made fun of it, but that's okay. I just tap my finger and my thumb on my tongue. And then press together. And looky here. Here comes the plies. The plies come off. This is the green napkin is a 3-ply napkin. So you're going to have to take off 2 plies. We have to take off the plies before we decoupage. Otherwise, the top layer tries to remove itself. It bubbles up and we don't want that. Okay, so there's that one. And then if you struggle with that, or you just don't want to do that, I'm going to be using Mod Podge Matte today. That's the yellow label. It's perfect for wood surfaces and napkinizing. So I'm going to pour some of this into a little dish here. This is the other thing that you can do. I'm going to just dip my finger just ever so slightly into this Mod Podge, and then it's tap, tap, tap. We don't want it to be gluey. We want it to be sticky. And then let's see, when we come over here, do you see how easy? Again, so easy. Now this particular napkin right here, only 2 plies. So don't kill yourself trying to get the 3rd ply off because it's not there. All right, you just have to take off 1 ply. Let's do this again. So again, if you don't like the lick and stick, just a little tap, just a little tiny bit of Mod Podge on your fingers. It will come right off. Okay. All right. So now we've removed all of our plies, and let's see, how is our stuff looking here? Let's go ahead and apply some heat to get our crackle drying. Okay. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you for your nice comments. I appreciate that. So I'm just taking the heat gun and I'm just kind of running it over. Notice that I'm keeping the heat gun moving. You can keep the heat close to your crackle medium, but we need to keep the heat moving, okay? Yes, you can pre-order this kit if you'd like to. Our first round of kits sold out within like a day and a half or something like that in the Jingle Mingle group. But we're making more, okay? We're making more, and we'll be able to ship those out to you later in July, the 25th and 26th. All right. So how can you tell that it's drying? Let me hold this up here for you. You're gonna, well, it may be kind of hard to tell. It's just gonna start, instead of looking wet, it's gonna look more matte. Okay, it's gonna look like more of a matte finish. And this is really getting close. It's just a few areas. Need a little drying. Looking good. All right, I'm gonna let this sit just a little bit longer, and let's go ahead and work on our tree. What did I do with the tree? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let's work on the tree. I'm going to change up my screen here a little bit for you so you can see a little bit better. All right. So I have my tree and I have the tissue paper here. We're going to use the Mod Podge matte, and let's use a smaller brush for this. I'm going to dip into this and we're going to decoupage this piece of napkin tissue right onto our tree. Now, anytime you trace something, it generally, whatever you trace and cut out is a little bigger. Okay, so, and that's okay. It's always good to have a little wiggle room, I think. And then we can go in and sand off those areas. Okay, so I'm going to take my napkin piece and I like to kind of hold it up at the bottom. Yep, and then just kind of let it drop into place. Okay, move this over just a tad. There we go. Okay, so by having the tree be a little bit bigger than what we need it to be, that's actually going to be a good thing for us, because sometimes you lay it down and it's like you need to move things around, but if you have a little wiggle room, you don't really have to worry about that so much, right? We can sand off the edges. So because this wood surface is very smooth, I'm going to use a piece of plastic wrap. Plastic wrap could be something in your kitchen. You could use Saran wrap or another brand of plastic wrap. I'm actually using what are called deli bakery sheets that I get on Amazon. You see them probably when you go to the donut store, right? But they don't stick to each other, which is great. They kind of come right out of the box like a Kleenex. And of course I go through a lot of these. So I put it on and then we're going to smooth the napkin. This is the best way to get your napkin art decoupaged on without major issues of wrinkles, crinkles, those kinds of things. Now, remember, we have those valleys. Remember those little valleys for the shiplap? I can take my fingernail and kind of go into these valleys, or if you have a toothpick or something, you can go into these valleys. I have this little file here. I just want that napkin to go down into those valleys. Okay, I like those valleys. All right, now we're going to just carefully lift the plastic wrap off. And we're going to dry this. I like to dry it before we sand it. I'm going to dry it really good before we sand it. It'll dry pretty quick. And then a little piece of sandpaper or a sanding file, whatever you have, will be perfect for this. If you even need it, you may have a couple of edges where it's a little bit, like I said, anytime you trace something, it's going to wind up being a little bigger than the surface you're putting on. So we're just going to sand off these edges. I need to make sure this isn't going into my project over here. And you can sand off as much as you want if you want some of the sides of the wood showing. I actually like that. I think that looks really good. Okay, so now that this part is done, we're going to set this, well, actually, let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do a top coat of our Mod Podge so that can be drying. It's always good to seal your napkin art, guys. Anything you use with a napkin tissue that you decoupage, because we have to remember it is just a thin tissue. Okay, it's just a super thin tissue. So this will help to seal it and protect it. And we're going to let that dry. All right, let's go back over here. Oh, yes, we're doing good here. Oops, I got a little speck of the tree napkin that I sanded off. All right, I think we're about ready here. Got one little kind of wet patch right here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I would probably let this dry maybe a little bit longer, but we're going to go ahead and move on. I got to stay within my time. I don't want to get us all off schedule today. Okay, so you can see the majority of it is really good and dry. So I'm going to go back to my paint, the same color paint that I used. Okay, same color paint that I used. And it is going to be important with this. Let me go big for a second. It is going to be important with this, your brush strokes. Okay. So when you put this on, I want you to watch me. I'm going to be kind of stroking this way. When my hand naturally lifts up, I'm going to turn my brush and continue the stroke. You cannot go like this, this, and this. And the reason you can't is because that reaction, okay, the crackle reaction with your paint, your top coat of paint and the crackle medium happens almost immediately. So if you go like this, you've just covered it up. Okay. So we don't want to cover that up. So I'm going to come in and let me get this little section done. All right. So kind of watch my hands as I do this. I'm going to come across, turn over my brush, put some more on. I'm going a little thicker in places and thinner in places every time my hand lifts up. And I mean, it's starting. You see the crackle? It's already starting. That's why you can't brush back over that stroke. You just can't do it. So I'm turning my brush. And like I said, I like it when there's kind of bigger crackle, thinner crackle in spots. And just make your way over your piece. And it's going to look so cool. This white on white crackle is what I call it. You can do it with any colors. I really like how it looks. All right, let's get some down here on this bottom part. Okay, love it. Look at it already. And I don't have to do anything else to it. I'm going to hold it up for you here in just a second. I just want you to see how quickly all of that crackle is happening. It's happening very fast. Now, oh, I have a drip. Let's see if we can get rid of that drip. So it's happening very fast, and I really don't care. I like it when there's big areas of crackle, small areas of crackle. I call it cracklage because it looks more natural, like it aged over time. So as soon as the crackle starts, then we can come back in with the heat tool and actually help to activate even more crackle. I'm going to take my little pick here, my little file here again, though, because I want to clean out those valleys. I like the valleys. I like the Shiplap valleys. So I'm going to clean my paint out of those. Oop, got off track. before I start drying. And I also will clean a little bit of paint out of this hole up there. Okay, I've got a wet wipe here that I can clean my fingers off with. All right, how do you like it? Do you like the look? I'm crazy for crackle. I mean, I get excited by it. And I mean, I've done it a million times, but I don't care. I love it. I love watching the process. I love watching it happen. And especially on this project, it's going to look amazing. All right. It's just in this whole white on white, it's just such a pretty adds kind of a vintage touch without having to add that contrast. If I had, let's say if I had put red on the base coat, then red would be showing through the cracks. Okay. But because it's the same color, looks amazing. All right. And adding my heat just helps to activate the cracklage even more, and to the point that even if you wanted to add heat even longer, sometimes you get that kind of chippy look, right? Look cute. All right, let's see how we're doing here. Look, isn't that amazing? See how where it's thicker in places, thinner in places. I love it. All right, so we're just gonna try to make sure that we have the bulk of it dry, and then we're gonna napkinize it. Okay. Yes. I think people always think they have to have contrasting colors with crackle, but they don't. You could do kind of a wash over it. You could have it be more subtle. It's okay to do that. All right. Okay, we're going to keep going. Let's look at this again. Oh, that just makes my heart happy. I just love it. I love it. Okay, so what's going to happen next is we're going to go over to our poinsettia pieces. All right. And we're going to add, let me get all my stuff together. I want another piece of plastic wrap here. Actually, let me tell you this. I don't have to use plastic wrap again if I don't want to. I'm actually, because I just created all this texture, look at all that chunk, that texture. There's depth kind of in those cracks, that cracklage. So actually, I think I'm going to use my chip brush for this, okay, for this next application. And that will just give you an idea of, another way that you can apply your napkin art, okay? All right, so let's go over. I'm going to go over kind of on this side right here. And I'm applying, again, my Mod Podge matte. I like matte for projects. I'm not crazy about Mod Podge glossy. It just, you guys, it stays tacky and sticky even, a month after you made your project. And I just don't like that. So I'm putting quite a bit of Mod Podge. I know it's hard to see. And now I'm going to lay this is my piece that has the long side here. I'm going to lay this down, just a little simple taps. And instead of using my plastic wrap, I'm going to use the chip brush. There's nothing on it. I'm just pouncing up and down. This is going to help the napkin conform to all the cracklage, so that some of that cracklage, sometimes it makes a bigger difference. On this particular napkin, I'm not sure we'll be able to see it, but we'll see. Look how beautiful is that. That looks so good. Doesn't that look amazing? It looks so good. Okay, so I'm going to use my little, actually, I'll use my fingernail. Actually, let's do this. Sorry. Remember those, I am going to put this down on it just for protection, but remember those shiplap lines? Yeah, I still want them to show. So again, just kind of either your fingernail, something. I want those shiplap lines to kind of show. It's subtle, but they're there. I don't know if you can see it, if you'll be able to see it on TV, if you'll be able to see it on camera or not. my grandkids, when they see me live, like on on the laptop or the phone, they say that I'm on TV. This is it's funny. So they think I'm a TV star. And one day they will realize I am not. All right, let's put this one. I want this one kind of down in this corner. Make sure I have plenty of Mod Podge down here. And this one, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to go ahead and let it kind of come over the edge a little bit. But I really want a lot of it kind of in this corner. So I'm going to just let it fall. Take my chip brush, pounce away. And it looks amazing. I'm going to dry it before I sand it because I don't want, when the napkin is wet, it's at its most fragile. Okay. It could tear really easily. So we're going to dry it, especially around these sides. And then we'll sand off those edges. Oops, my finger. Oh, my finger got caught in there. All right, I can fix that. All right. So now, see how pretty? It's just kind of sanded to the edge. Notice I didn't paint the edges, and I'll show y'all why about that here in just a second. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put a top coat over all of this because I may do some pen work. I'm going to show you some pen work that I did on the original sample in case you decide you want to do that. It's going to be pretty with or without it, but I think it'll be fun for you to see the difference between the two, and then you can decide if you like that or not. Remember, we've got to seal the napkin, especially if we're going to do napkin art, pen work on it. Otherwise, the napkin will just absorb the ink. But we're also sealing the project. And notice that I'm putting Mod Podge over the entire thing. I'm doing that because I don't want to see any stop starts. And even though this is matte, sometimes you can see where it stops and starts. Okay. All right. Let's go back to our tree. And the next thing we're going to do while this is drying is we're going to add some gold accents. Okay. So this time I'm using a gold, this is a Krylon gold leafing pen. But if you have any kind of gold metallic paint, a gold metallic paint marker, something like that will work great for this. And I'm going to just shake it up and then press it down to get it loaded. I'm going to load the paint in there. And then I'm going to come in and paint my star. Okay, so I want my star to be this pretty gold metallic. And then also I'm going to do the edges, all of the edges, actually the edges of the whole entire thing, the tree, the star, the trunk, everything. Okay, you see what I mean? I'm going to go down like all of everything. Let's go ahead and do this trunk part. Okay, so you can see the trunk is painted gold. Same thing. I'll go around the edges, right, of everything. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on because I don't want to, we're getting close on our time here. The other place I'm going to use the gold Krylon pen is across the valleys. So you can do this wide or thin. That's up to you. And then I'm going to go along the edges of the tree as well. Just kind of half on, half off. You can come in with the tip and kind of clean that up. But it's going to look amazing with these gold accents. Isn't that pretty? I know, right? So pretty. And then once that's done, we're going to add a few stickles, okay? And this dries really, really fast. So if you're using paint, just make sure you allow enough time to dry. The Krylon pens dry really fast. And then we're going to add some stickles. So stickles is like a glitter glue. I'm just going to kind of put a blob on there and then just pounce it with my finger. You could use a paintbrush if you want to. But I want the trunk and the star to sparkle. And then that will just set aside and dry. Let me show you. It sparkles a lot more once it's dry. I think diamond stickles would be great for this, or even unicorn. Unicorn is a really pretty one because it's got gold and silver flecks in it. So see the sparkle, a little hard to see maybe on camera, but that's it. So you can see that I went around all the edges of the tree, right? All of that. The other place that you could do it, okay, this is another place, is if you don't want to like dry brush the edge, I think gold on this edge of the tag would be amazing. Okay, look how pretty that is, right? So if you wanted to do gold on the edge of the tag, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do the whole thing yet though, because I am going to put the green napkin on the back, and it's easier to just get all that napkin art on, right? Get the napkin tissue on the back, sand it, seal it, and then do this at the very end. Okay, do this at the very end. Now, let's dry this a little bit more because I'm going to show you just a couple other techniques, and then I'll show you what it looks like on the sample. We would want this to be dry before we add any kind of pin work. And I want you to see the difference. Okay, so we're going to look here kind of at the bottom part of this. I want you to see this one. And I want you to see this one. This is the difference that pin work makes. Okay, you can see that I just took a black pin and just kind of went around, kind of doodle traced around the poinsettia. And then I used my gold pen to put a few dots in the center of the poinsettia and added some stickles so they sparkle. If you wanted to do any, like if you have a gold pen, a gold metallic pen, like a Uniball pen, you can come add in some gold accents if you want to. But again, this is just as pretty. So if you don't have those kinds of things in your stash, it's okay. You don't have to add it. It's purely optional. Okay, it's purely optional. So let's just kind of finish looking on here. You can see again, did some pin work. Let me lift up the bow. I only did pin work on the poinsettias, and I added the gold pin work on the leaves, the poinsettia leaves, and then just that little bit of gold in the centers and stickles to make those look so cute. So what happens next? Well, after all of that, this just gets glued on. It's going to get glued on. Now bring it down a little bit because we are going to have a bow right up here. And let's make the bow real quick. Now we gave you quite a bit of twine here in case you want to use a hanger, and you guys feel free to use, if you want to use different ribbon, whatever you want. This is what will be in your kit, this pretty gold, since we have a lot of gold accents here. And so what I'm doing is I'm crisscrossing this. All right, looks kind of like a tribute ribbon, right? Crisscrossing this. This intersection will be the center of my bow. I'm going to take this part and just go back underneath and then scrunch all this up. I like to use a clothespin to hold it together for me. Okay. So I'm just going to make the bow, and then you guys can decide. Like, I probably won't add, well, I can add the little hanger on it. Sometimes it depends on how you're going to use it, right? So just tying this twine in the center, I'm going to tie it off in a double knot. You can use your clothespin again if you need to. And look at the pretty bow we have. Isn't that pretty? Be the boss of your bow, pull those ends down. And then I'm going to cut these down a little shorter because I don't want them to cover up all of my pretty stuff. And I'm going to put a little dovetail here. I'm going to cut a little slit up the center, and then the corner to the top of the slit, and the corner to the top of the slit. Same thing over here. Snip up the center, corner to the top of the slit, corner to the top of the slit. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie a bow out of the twine. And then I didn't put anything in the center of my bow, but I think you could. If you've got some special embellishment, even a pretty button or just something you want to put in there, I think it could look really, really nice. I'm going to tie a couple little tails here in the end of the twine. All right, I got to watch my time here. It's getting close. So again, if some of you would like to learn more about napkin art, I would love to teach you. I'd love to teach you in the Napkin Club. We have shared a link with you. You girls can, Cheryl and Susan, y'all can share it again. The bow is going to go right here. And then, of course, you can add on a hanger if you choose to. If you know for a fact you want a hanger, right, coming out of that hole right there, you can. And then I just use the bow to kind of cover up the hole. All right, just really pretty. So let's look at the sample again. This one's dry. I just hot glued the tree on. Just use hot glue for that. And like I said, if you wanted to, if you decide you want to add a hanger, that could be added. And I just glued my bow right on. And I think it just looks so cute. It's so cute, so darling. You can see some of the sparkle and the metallic. It looks amazing. And of course, our lovely crackle on crackle, right? The white on white crackle. So now that I have these done, like I said, don't gift them without finishing off the back. You're going to have plenty of napkin here, this green napkin to finish off the back. And then if you want to add a pocket, literally, that could just be a piece of cute scrapbook paper, even a piece of felt, and just trace out the bottom of your tag, stick it on there. Don't glue the top because that would be the pocket part. And I just think it'd be really cute, a great kind of Christmas container for, giving something. We're trying in my family to give more experiences than stuff. So, if I get tickets to a show or something that I want to gift, it's so much prettier to be able to put it into something just so it feels more like a gift. So then they have this as a gift, but they also have the experience, whatever, just a way to package it. Okay. Yes. So much fun.